conversation with Victor Hernandez, City Council, Place 1. Well, let's go to the phone, 770-5790. Vicki, you're on. What's up?
Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Mr. Hernandez.
Good morning.
On the south side of Lubbock, we're experiencing growing pains with the lack of coordination between the contractors in the expansion of 98 University and the development of the neighborhood Walmart. What can be done to ensure that this coordination between the contractors and the city improves? In other words, why not widen one street at a time rather than the major inconvenience that is being experienced by us in Fox Ridge? Thank you.
Well, Vicki, appreciate that. I mean, if you're aware of any particular contractors who are running into an issue, shoot them on over to my office. I do not run the city as a council member, or nor would I run the city as a mayor. We're policymakers, but I facilitate meetings all the time in order to bring different groups together. If you're experiencing this sort of problem, then I would say let's just get everybody together, including our staff, senior management team, and these contractors, and say, let's try to find a solution to the problem. And I do that all the time, so it wouldn't be a big problem for me. Give me a call at 311, ask for my office. We can do that even now.
All right, back to the phones. HR, you're on. What's up?
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. What's happening with you this morning?
Hey, man, Tom, I want to tell you, thank you and Laura for getting this guy on. Really appreciate that. I realize that there's some shows that have been very hostile to Victor on this show, and but I appreciate him having the gumption to come on.
Absolutely.
But the question I want to ask Victor, the things that you've said in this city, with Greg Abbott and all those, I know that your constituents will support you, but the divisive things that you said in this city, what makes you think you can get the support of all the people of Lubbock? And I'll hang up and listen.
Well, and that's a great question, HR. First of all, even as a council member, I've not only spoken for the district, but I've spoken for this entire city. What I will tell folks, and what I've been telling folks, is that the interest of the establishment, quote unquote establishment, that 10% of the city, has always been looked after and will always be looked after. It's the other 90% of us whose interests are not being taken care of or being taken into account. And that's what I bring to the table. I want to provide a balanced approach to governance. In other words, if we want to talk about expanding 66th Street, let's talk about it, and let's get that done. If we want to talk about other issues that are uncomfortable but are facing this city, let's talk about those and quit pretending they don't exist. For example, the homeless issue. For example, the STD rates in this city. As a city, you've got to be holistic in your approach and not put on these blinds that say we're only going to cater to a few and we're only going to cater to economic development efforts. No, you have to manage this entire city in all parts of the city. So to answer your question, I'm going to be looking at the 90% of the citizens of Lubbock who make up this city who traditionally have not had a voice.
Right, in conversation with Victor Hernandez, he's Place 1 City Council running for mayor of the municipality of Lubbock. 770-5790, you got a question, 742, we'll be back. Hey, we're in conversation with Victor Hernandez, City Council Place 1, basically is running for mayor in this next election cycle. Got a question, you're talking about, 90% of the underserved population of the city had a question that was thrown at us from the other side of the glass in the producer's booth. Who do you consider the 90%, who don't get a vote that you want to be the voice for? A voice that you want to be the voice for?
Yeah, and you said underserved. I'm saying ignored, and it's 90% of of people living in the city throughout the city. It's people who don't know somebody, who don't run in their circles, but who make up the bulk of the city, who are hardworking folks, family folks, church folks. They're just going and living their lives, and yet they feel no real connection to city government because it's considered an elite group. And unless you know somebody or are doing business with them, then you feel you have no say. And I'm saying everybody has a say. Everybody has a right to be represented by the city council and by the mayor. And sometimes that's lacking. For example, I get a call from a couple of gentlemen, very well known here in this town, and they want to talk about a project, and they say, "Can you meet with us?" Well, there's no doubt I'm going to meet with them because I meet with anybody who calls and asks. That's not the point. The point is they feel comfortable enough to call and ask. Most people don't even feel that comfort level, simply because they think of us as not being accessible. Oh, you got to be special. Well, folks, the reality is council members, mayors, other elected officials, they're your neighbors. They're just like you. Don't be afraid of us. Talk to us. And what you'll find out is we'll listen. We'll pay attention. So that's what I bring to the table, a balanced approach to everybody, a balanced approach to governance. People that traditionally don't have a voice will have a voice. People who traditionally have a voice will continue to have a voice. They always have and they always will. I'm not worried about those folks.
You know, in the pursuit for the office of mayor of Lubbock, what do you think the biggest obstacles are for the city, and how can you reduce those obstacles and make, if you will, the dream a reality? In other words, you know, how are you going to, if you were elected, how are you going to change things up to where, you know, things really, you know, are going to be impacted? Because, you know, it is a council and, you know, there are 7 votes.
Yeah. I've worked really well with councils. In fact, I will tell you, we've been able to get a lot of things done since I've been back. And I've been part of that core group of folks getting things done on the council. But I don't believe in counting to 4. You know, it takes 4 votes on council to get anything done. I don't believe in that. I believe every single council member has something to contribute. And why, one of the reasons I don't believe in counting to 4 is because I've been on the out before. And it doesn't feel good to be on the out, and it's a disservice to that council member representing a segment of the city. There's a place for every single council member. Each one of us brings a certain expertise, a certain perspective that needs to be taken into account. There's a place for everybody. And if I'm elected mayor, it becomes a question of where their interest lies. Where do they want to help? How much time do they want to commit to it? And we'll put everybody to work together.
Okay. When we come back, I just want to know really what drives people to pursue something like this, because it really is, and we've asked Robertson this before. It's just like it's pretty much a thankless job, and it doesn't pay very well.
Yeah, the way I asked it was, why in the wide world of sports would you want to run for mayor? We'll get to that.
7:51. Good morning. All right, in conversation with Victor Hernandez, Place 1 City Council, and running for mayor. Going to be, I guess, special election to cover your spot in May, yeah?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Now, relatively speaking, as far as the way that, you know, you're approaching this, as far as the mayor's race, how do you reach out to people in segments of the community that, I mean, because let's face it, you know, I mean, people corner up and they get in certain corners. How do you reach out to the people who disagree with your viewpoints, and you know, how do you try and get people on the same page? And long story short, what do you do to get the votes you need to get elected to be mayor?
Well, I will tell you, you know, I've been at this for 16 years. And a lot of people, you're absolutely right, have formed an opinion, and either I'm folks consider me famous or infamous. I mean, and there's really no in between. And after 16 years, I am who I am. And what I will tell those folks who are anti-Victor is, don't be afraid. You know, I've been providing, along with other council members, leadership for the city for 16 years, and more so for the last 4 years that I've come back. I have visited with a number of quote-unquote movers and shakers. Not a single one of them have told me that I'm not capable, I'm not intelligent enough to manage this city along with other council members. And I stress that. The mayor is, just by his position, is the focal point, but it is a council. And councils, I've always been of the opinion, as a group, make the best decisions.
Okay, this is just a for instance. Okay, obviously you got to give up place one to run for the mayor, right?
Correct.
So they have this special election coming up. Supposing Victor does not get elected mayor, what's next for Victor Hernandez? Do you circle back and come back to the council, make another run at it? What are you thinking?
No. I mean, the District 1 seat will be up at the same time as the mayor's position. So there will be a representative for the next, to fill the unexpired term for the next 2 years. I don't know what the future will hold. I'll go back to my law practice and practice law full time. So, I mean, for the immediate future, being 2 years, that's what I'm going to do. I love what I do. And quite frankly, I think I've been pretty good at it. To answer your question very quickly, if I were doing this for the money, I would have run for municipal court judge, which gets $155,000 a year. I'm not doing this for the money.
Where do I get my application?
Yeah, right.
Victor Hernandez,
Thanks for
Place
coming
1
in
City
today.
Council. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.